Well, I got a little time before work, so I thought I'd go out and grab one or two of the videotapes out of the windowsill that were below the floodwaters, and I've dried out. We're going to find out if they work. It'll be an interesting experiment, not only for me, but for anyone else that might be interested. By the way, in the last Mish-Mash video, I said that Rebel 9668, our good subscriber, is the one that gave me these DVDs that got wet in the flood, but he also gave me the VCR tapes. Well, he corrected me. He said, yeah, I gave you the DVDs, but not the VCR tapes. So I had to think about, well, who gave me the VCR tapes? You guys give me so much stuff, I can't keep track of it all. And it finally came to me. It was Muhammad Rahim Al-Fassad who gave me these. So let's go ahead and select a couple. I've got this one right on top I want to check. It's Grease. Grease. This is one of my favorite movies. And then I picked another one out here. Where was it? It's, yeah, Dr. No. Dr. No is a 007 James Bond movie. Remember that, guys? All you young folks might not. Well, let's see if these two are going to work. And then probably tomorrow before we're at work, I'll pick a couple more. Well, as you can see, the VCR is working. I have a tape in it that did not get hit by the flood. So let's go over and take a look at it. The tape I have in there right now is First Night, and we're going to go ahead and I keep two of these, and I think I've got two more out in the shed. The reason I keep these is because if one breaks, I always have a backup, you know. If I find one in a flea market for $5 or $10 and it's functional, that baby's coming home with me, because you never know when you might need one. So let's go ahead and plug Grease in there, and hopefully it'll play. Come on, baby, do your thing here. Okay, shows it playing. Well, so far so good. Maybe some of the tapes weren't as, you know, quite as wet as others. Well, well, well. We'll give it a few more minutes to see if we're going to have any glitches pop up. And I've got three other ones. The Lost Boys U571 Special Edition and the Night Flyer. Now these three had water running right out of them, I remember it. So if these work, then I guess we can call it a success by drying them out. Let's try the Night Flyer first. Well, so far so good. That's the first thing to pop up on the screen. Let's see if anything else is going to happen here. I'm impressed to no end. Well, number 2, legal warning. You want to go to prison? You just try showing this downtown. See what happens to you. Alright. And a son of a gun. I can't believe this. This is amazing. This tape was soaking wet. Must be a squirrel in the backyard. Oh, dogs are going wild.
And observing supernatural things in the early times.
I think we'll call that a success too. Well, U571 looks to be okay. Amazing. Can't believe it. That's a tape. Look how clear that is. It's great. Alright, the Lost Boys. Let's get that one in there. And if that works, then I'll know the rest of the tapes are going to be survived. I think what saved these tapes, the water didn't hurt it because they were in a cardboard box. The box got destroyed, but no mud got in there because the cardboard filtered it out. So far, so good. I was thinking maybe the Lost Boys might have been a lost tape. It took a long time to get started. Okay, I'm happy. I hope I didn't bore you with all this. But at least you can say you know someone whose tapes were underwater after he dried them out on a windowsill for about a week. They finally started playing again with no problem at all. This is incredible. I'm using an RCA player, by the way. Who knows how old it is. Oh yeah, this is great. Alright. This must be the month of catastrophe for me and my family. Unbelievable. Look at the rain coming again to Conway right here. Let me go ahead and, it's going to be a big old storm, possible tornado with lots of hail. And it's moving. Oh, right there is where we're at. Look at that. Look at that old big blob of red going to be here shortly. Just what we needed, you know, more rain. Plus my camera's messing up on me. Oh, God, one thing after another. Hopefully I'll be able to get this loaded, but I see in the future a need to probably purchase another video camera. I'm going to get another one of these Bloggy Touches. This thing is great. Alright, speaking of catastrophe, not really a catastrophe, but things, if it can go wrong, it's going to. As a result of the flood, my Ryobi tool bag that I have, you know, several items in it, I think just about everybody bought one of those. You know, the green bag with the green drill and the green reciprocating saw and the green flashlight and the green circular saw and all that jazz. One of the batteries was deeper in the water than the other inside the bag when the flood went into the garage. And I think it shorted out the battery across the two terminals and made it drain. Because when I put the battery in the old charger, watch what happens here. It's supposed to be sensing the voltage on the battery and then come over to the green part and start flashing and start charging. As you can see, it's not happening. The way this thing operates, from what I understand, is if the voltage of the battery is too low, which has been predetermined by the people at the factory that built the charger, the charger won't charge it because it's considered a bad battery. Bad battery, therefore it has to have a minimum amount of voltage in it, otherwise it won't start charging. And I went online on YouTube and there's like a million different ways to save your batteries and not have to pay like 40 bucks. Well, I'm into that, you know. I looked at all the different YouTube videos and there was only one, Tom Stuff 460, that really appealed to me. Now, one guy took off the entire top, took out all the screws and everything and lifted the whole top. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to open this whole thing up. And you have to get to the contacts on the circuit board that are underneath this plastic cover. You can't just hook your wires to here on this particular type of battery and to here to charge it. There's a current limiting deal, I think, in this tower underneath the plastic. So you have to bypass that by hooking directly to the negative terminal underneath the plastic located there, and the positive terminal located about right there where that brown, that black dot is. So what this old Tom Stuff guy did, he did great. I thought that was cool. He didn't remove it all. What you need to do is excite the battery. You need to, you know, shoot a few volts in there. He used his power supply, DC power supply, and I think he used 6 volts. You drill a little 1/8 inch hole right there. Right there, because the other side of where that black dot is where the positive terminal is. That corresponds to the positive terminal over here. Kind of interesting how it's on the opposite side. The negative terminal is located behind this plastic right there. So it's real thin plastic. All you got to do is take an 1/8 inch drill bit and kind of drill a little hole there until you break through, and then touch your wires there. And that way you bypass this tower and you go directly to the contacts located on this circuit board. You can go on YouTube and look up Ryobi or Ryobi, however you want to pronounce it, battery repair, and you'll see what I'm talking about that circuit board under there. Now this is the P102. The P102. Well, I'm happy to say that old Tom Stuff knows what he's talking about. There is the negative contact plate right there. And it was real easy to drill out. None of the filings, the plastic filings, even got inside. They just coiled right on out through drill. So all I have to do is drill the other side, and then we'll come back and show you what we're going to do with them. And there's the positive plate on the other side. So we now have both of our plates. Let's hook up our wires to our DC power supply. Alright, I've got this thing cranked up to 6.6 volts, as you can see, and I just hooked in you know, my negative probe to the negative point on the power supply, and the positive to the positive. I'm just going to take the old red, I'm going to plug it in that hole right there where I drilled. That's the positive connection. And the old black's going to go in this one over here. I'm just going to hold it for about 2 minutes. And let's see if it increases the voltage in the battery. If it does not excite the battery and does not increase it enough, then that means this old battery's had the lick. Bummer. I decided to get a little brave and kick the voltage up to about 12.5. Remember, this is an 18 volt battery. And I was getting 2 point something. That might be 2 amps of current. I don't know. It might be 200 milliamps. Like I said, I got to check that manual again. It's been a while since I've read it. Alright, let's see what kind of voltage we have now. Change hands here, it'd be a little easier, I think. Let's see, negative on the left, positive on the right. Oh, alright, okay, 8.78 volts. Now that should be enough to get that battery charger to realize that the battery's not stone dead and go ahead and start charging. All we're trying to do is get the level of the voltage in the battery up enough so the battery charger will kick in and do its job. And if it stays too low, it just won't do it. Let's get the battery charger hooked back up. Well, here goes. This light will have to, in order for this thing to work properly, this light's going to have to flash, testing the battery, sensing the voltage, and if the voltage is at an acceptable level, it'll switch over here to one of these green lights. If it charges, it'll be flashing on and off. If it's fully charged, it'll be the green light will light. So it won't be fully charged. We already know that. So let's see what happens. Red. It's sensing it. Come on, baby. Come on. I don't want to have to buy a new battery. If I have to, I'll stimulate it again and again till we get it to kick in. Well, it doesn't seem to want to do anything. Well, shucks. Alright, well, let's test the voltage again. Well, the voltage is still at 8.19 volts DC, so maybe that's not high enough. Maybe we need to go higher. So I'm going to charge it some more, just like I did previously. See if we can't get it up to the 12, 13, or maybe even 14 volt level. I don't know what voltage this power supply requires, but it seems like 8.19 volts should be plenty. We'll see. Just what we need. Lots more rain. Oh, God. Look at this stuff. It's supposed to get really bad. This is like just the beginning. Well, I kept doing it until the charge made it up to 15 volts. A little bit more than 15 volts. And after about 15 minutes of sitting, you can see it's lost a lot of voltage. I think our battery is about had to lick. It just got too much water in it. Let's put it in the charger. 11 volts should be plenty to kick this thing into the charging mode. Well, no, there you go. It says right there, if it's a flashing light, it's defective. That's exactly what's going on. It won't even go into, I don't think it's even going into the testing mode. It's just defective. Ah, bummer. Oh well. I'm going to put this thing in the drill when I get later on and see if it's got any charging. I'll run it in the drill for a while and then stick it back in here. Maybe that'll do it. I don't know. Probably not. I think what we have here is a lost cause. Well, this morning I went ahead and tested the voltage after the battery sat all night, and it read almost 9 volts. So the battery is holding voltage okay, but when I stuck it in the drill and the other pieces that came with this set, it does absolutely nothing. And I think what's happened is the circuit board beneath the plastic on the top is messed up somehow, got all screwed up. It's not the charger. I have a second battery that came with this and the charge is fine. The red light blinks like it's supposed to, testing. Then it flips over into the green light area. So the charger's okay, fortunately. But there's something wrong with the circuit board below this plastic. And one of these days I'll take it apart, you know, just to see if there's anything I can do about it. Who knows, you know. Anyway, enough of that. I have other fish to fry today. Well, this is my other fish to fry. Look at this garage. The flood made it even worse than it was. It's all covered with mud, the whole floor. But at least it's dried out. And today what I want to do is kind of get the back cleaned up enough where I can move in a couple of shelving units and start putting crap up off the floor, both here and in the old shed, and kind of try to make some kind of sense out of this. This is horrible. I'm a very organized kind of person, I think. At least I like to consider myself as one, but I've just let this go because I wanted to work on the shop. Well, the flood kind of, you know, as they say, circumstances alter cases. So I'll be working on that, and I won't be working too hard though, because ham benching is next week. I want to be well rested for ham benching. Can't wait to get up to ham benching. I'm going to see a few of the guys from our YouTube here. Scott Johnston was there last year. He'll be there again this year. Our good YouTube subscriber Scott, and he's going to buy the pizza this time. All right, I'm all for that. So let me see what I can get accomplished today. What I don't get accomplished, it won't matter. A few days from now is retirement anyway. I'm finally going to be retired. I don't know how I'm going to take that retirement business. It's just, I just don't know about that. But anyway, we'll see. Let me get cranked up. A little side note here about our fence. I'm still unable to do anything about it. With all the rains we've gotten, all the holes now are, again, filled up with water, so they're going to have to drain down at least a ways. Every time I take a post hole digger and jam it down in there, it would come back up and just cover me with mud and water. That's just not going to happen. So, well, I guess the old fence just isn't hurt anything laying there anyway. Just give her time. She'll dry out eventually. Check out those potato plants, Buzz. Look at that. My God, it looks like a forest over there. We had a good recovery on our potato plants. Well, at least we got a path cleared now. I've still got some stuff laying out here I got to put back in, but that's our first sweeping pile. Everything I picked up had water in it, just ran out all over the floor, so I'm going to let it dry out, and I'm going to go back and give it a second good sweeping, but it's going to have to be hosed out completely. I want to get as much of the debris off the floor as possible, though, before I do that. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this pile of crap first. And then I'm going to leave the door open in the windows and just let it air out and dry for about an hour, maybe hour and a half. Meanwhile, I have something else important to do. Well, I'll tell you what that thing is. I think I'll remove my tape, my VHS tape from my rewinder, and stick it in the old tape player, and I am going to watch Dr. No. A James Bond movie, people. And in the middle of the day, so I'm going to do a little practice here for when retirement comes up at the end of the month. I want to be well practiced, because if I feel like watching a movie in the middle of the day, I'll be able to do it. Now, whether or not I actually do it, that's another story. But anyway, we're going to watch one today. Until next time, this is John.